You've got dreams, deadlines, and maybe a little bit of chaos, and we've got you. This is Fearless Journeys, Thriving on Campus, the podcast that keeps it real about what it's actually like to be a student today. Think stress hacks, study tips, awkward roommate moments, and mental health check-ins. Because thriving isn't about being perfect, it's about being brave enough to keep going.
Welcome back to another episode of Fearless Journeys, Thriving on Campus, the podcast that helps students succeed academically, mentally, and socially. And I am your co-host today, Steve.
And I am Corinne, your other co-host.
Wonderful. It's good to do this again. We've been kind of on hiatus for a little bit. So
yeah.
Kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Today's topic is one that could either make or break your semester, study groups. And we're going to talk why they matter, how to build good ones, how to survive group assignments. That's a big one, eh? And how to keep communication from kind of going sideways in groups.
Yeah. So to start with, we want to look at the why. So programs are hands-on, collaborative, and often mirror real situations in the work environment and workplace environments.
Yeah.
So a study group could be a way to help students do that.
Yeah, and I think we see that quite a bit as we're trying to prepare students for actual work. And, maybe sometimes we don't think about why we're doing groups and why we have to do group assignments and things like that.
Yeah, sometimes like when you're going into a program,
you
don't know about that aspect of the work or the job. So it does feel like a unimportant piece of your education.
Yeah. Or scary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they help students really prepare for, that reality of work life. It's like, how do you collaborate with each other?
How do you work with different personalities?
Yeah. And kind of that problem solving piece and just it's really important to try and, not say master some of this, but at least put into practice.
Start building those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we want to look at like what study groups can offer for people?
Yeah. Let's look at that for sure.
So the first thing is within that group, it can help the people in the group have a better understanding of the content. I think like one of the ways that we can show that we're learning new skills is by teaching other people. So like the conversation in group, the collaborating with the group could be a way to build that knowledge or like to solidify that knowledge in our brain.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the main things, I take with in my past, my nursing career, it's see one, do one, teach one, right? And it really reinforces things.
It can also help with accountability and routine.
Yeah, I suppose accountability is important when you're young.
Yes.
Maybe it's not as important, but definitely going to be in the workplace.
Yeah. When you have deadlines, when you have projects that need to get done on our own, sometimes we can push that and push that and push that. But when we're in a group, we have to get our piece done so that the group project can be presented really well. So that accountability piece and figuring out like the routine, working with other people. How do we manage different schedules, time frames?
Yeah, and just having something regular, I think makes a big difference too in preparation. Right?
Yeah. A study group can offer social support network.
True, yeah. I mean, it is important to have a social network, especially when we're talking about mental health. The more connections you have, the better your mental health. So even building those social connections would be really important. And
even just incidental ones, like people who know your name, know a little bit about you. You're working towards the goals together.
Yeah. And, when you're, again, in the workplace, you're going to have to get to know your coworkers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Study groups can increase motivation.
Does it? How about for you?
I feel like for me, yes, because there is that pressure that I put on myself when I'm working with other people that I need to bring forward my piece, at least, or have like contribute to whatever's being worked on.
And that could, lead into motivation for other stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting motivated because you're doing the work in your study group and helps you stay motivated with your other work as well.
I think we went over this a little bit, but it can help a person have a chance to teach concepts, which boosts our learning, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. I think that's a really important piece.
Well, and I think too, in a study group, the benefit with the teaching concepts piece, like your instructor will teach something the way that they know how to teach. And they do try to teach in different ways to catch all the learners in the room. But there are still times where maybe what they're saying just isn't connecting with somebody. Yeah. Whereas maybe in that study group, those different perspectives from those different people can help boost our knowledge. Yeah.
I'm sure I've learned lots by other people teaching me. And then, figuring it out on what that looks like to me, and then being able to help others too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not forget about studying alone all the time, which can cause, again, you're isolating yourself, you're not making those connections, and it's really hard then to, the motivation and focus. Right? Yeah. So don't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Just get a group, right?
Yeah.
So what are maybe the pros and cons we're going to look at for study groups?
Do you want to go through the pros first?
Sure. Yeah.
So it can be multiple perspectives.
Yeah, you said, about getting somebody else's take on a lesson or something.
Yeah. We can share the workload. So everybody has a piece and then we bring it to the group.
Yeah. And that could be, we think sometimes study groups are like more work. But it's not really, because you're only doing a piece of it usually.
Yeah. We've mentioned this a few times, but it can increase our retention. So just having that different way of learning, of retaining the information, of sharing the information.
Yeah. And it reinforces everything, right?
Well, and two, we can maybe share what we understand, and then our peers in that group can maybe ask the right question, help tweak that knowledge a little bit or shift our perspective a little bit so we can understand it better. Study groups can be more fun than studying alone.
True. Well, probably that might be a con as well, but
yes,
maybe we'll look at that. But yeah, definitely, again, that social aspect, right?
Yeah. So if you're somebody who likes to be in a room with other people, study groups would probably be really beneficial.
Yeah.
If you're a person who needs to focus on your own, they may not be ideal for every single study situation. Yeah,
not for every study situation for sure, but even being part of a study group as I need my space to study, can be beneficial still.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then the final pro that we have is it encourages consistency. So when we have that meeting scheduled with our study group, we're more consistent preparing for it, attending it. Whereas if we're just studying on our own, maybe things get in the way and we get distracted and we're just maybe put it aside more often.
Right. Do you think that, being part of a study group and having that consistency, does that bleed into other areas too?
I think so. Yeah. I think when we are working on something and we see this is helpful, this is beneficial, I can do this with my other courses too.
Right.
Maybe not a study group in every course because that might be too much to manage, but bringing those skills from that study group into studying on other courses.
Yeah, makes sense. Some of the cons, socializing, like we talked about, instead of
so
studying.
Maybe going off topic.
Yeah. We're spending half an hour talking about, the last TV show we watched or the music we listened to, and we forget to study. So that can definitely get in the way.
Which isn't to say that can't happen, but we do need to make sure it's not overtaking the whole group.
Yeah. I mean, you can have some of it, right?
Yeah.
Moderation.
Yeah. Because I think this helps, socializing does help build that social network, knowing a little bit about each other.
Yeah.
But trying to stay on topic too.
Yeah. Sometimes hard. What happens, when not everybody's taking part in the study group?
Yeah.
Somebody's just kind of coasting through.
Yeah. So just attending and not contributing.
Yeah. That could be definitely an issue. I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
For sure. Scheduling, if you have 5 people in a group, that could be hard to kind of schedule. Yeah. I mean, it might save you time, like we mentioned, as a pro in that you're not doing all the work necessarily, but scheduling 5 people could be a bit of an issue. But hopefully, you're all in the same program-ish.
So you might have breaks around the same time.
Same breaks
hopefully.
And stuff,
And maybe that's part of finding your study group is finding people maybe not people that you necessarily socialize with, but people who have similar breaks so that you can focus on that studying.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. And sometimes, we talked about being able to see other people's perspectives, but sometimes we don't and we kind of get lost. And so that could be a con in the sense that, the rest of the group is way ahead of you, right? And, and you're not kind of there yet. So it could be a little bit of a hindrance, a little con, that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, study groups, can definitely kind of derail us, but can also, I think there's more pros than cons in this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I'm looking at like you as an individual too, figuring out what fits. I also think with a study group, maybe we try one and that one isn't a fit.
Yeah.
Not saying that study groups like after that experience are just not for us, but maybe being open to trying a different one. Like maybe this one wasn't a fit, but maybe another one would be.
Yeah. In a sense, you're finding your people, right? And that mesh with you and you mesh with them and you've got those connections of some kind.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now that we've talked about what they are, the pros and cons, how do we create a good study group?
Yeah, and you just mentioned that how do you find those people? That could be tricky for sure. If somebody's shy and doesn't reach out, like you mentioned in the past about being shy in university and not looking for those people.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. Yeah. Sought it out on my own because I was too shy back then. Yeah. But yeah.
I was probably too lazy back then. So, there's that
so there's
too.
Things that contribute.
Yeah. But, just trying to find your groups, even if you get put into a group, showing up and participating is definitely kind of one of those big things that you have to bite the bullet sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, even because we've talked about this in past episodes, even though something is uncomfortable, doesn't mean we can't do it.
Exactly.
And sometimes that discomfort is just our growth. It's just us trying something that is not something we've tried in the past and will help us. Yeah. But it can be hard to make that step.
Yeah, it's, and so, for a strong study group, it really is just trying. Right?
Yeah.
Putting the effort in a little bit. Yeah. Wanting to learn makes big difference, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we show up, we want to contribute. Maybe we're talking with our group and figuring out what people can contribute.
Right. Yeah.
Because as we've mentioned, different personalities, different strengths come into that group. So kind of figuring that out and thinking about what we can bring to the group. Yeah. What strengths, what benefits we can add to this group.
Yeah. What are our strengths? What are their strengths?
Yeah.
And everybody's got different learning styles. So it's, how does this fit with everybody? Is everybody more of an auditory learner or tactile? Or, I think jumping into any of those and adding auditory and visuals and stuff like that definitely reinforces. But other people have different learning styles.
Yes.
Or they process it differently. Right?
Something that can help create a good group is wanting to learn.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. Do I want to learn this material? Well, yes, it's my program, right?
I need these grades to keep moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Motivation.
Yes. And whatever that is for us, it doesn't have to be, it can be anything.
Yeah.
Whatever gets us wanting to learn.
For sure.
Staying on task, like we've mentioned a few times. It is okay to socialize a little. Yeah. But we want to be mindful of that and not letting that take over the group. So that we actually are learning. We are contributing.
So a good group, definitely everybody, staying on task makes a huge difference. Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, everybody has, or lots of people have different learning styles. So respecting those different learning styles. Just because somebody is not learning the same way as us doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's different. So respecting that. Yeah.
In a study group, when you're talking to each other, that respect is really important, right?
Yes.
Because like you said, not everybody is going to be necessarily on the same page, right? And maybe I don't understand what you're saying, and so I need somebody else to explain it. And so that flexibility.
Yeah. And maybe, like you've mentioned, maybe this study group has been assigned. So it's not people
Right.
that we interact with regularly. It's maybe not our friends in the class.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be friends,
No.
but we do have to be respectful.
Yeah. You know, it's really important for study groups to really start with clear expectations, right? So everybody knows what's going on. You know, how often are you going to meet? You know, how long are we going to study for? Things of that nature.
Yeah. Maybe there's a goal for each session.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? We always talk about goal setting, so it definitely makes sense to make a goal for each session.
I think we've talked about this too, preparing ahead of time. So figuring out what we are bringing to the group. What do we need to know about that? How can we share that with our group?
Like bring your textbooks, bring your study cards, if that's how you do it.
Your notes or whatever has helped you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you never know if that's going to help someone else.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. And of course, food is always good. Bring lots of snacks.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We need to fuel our bodies and brains so we can continue to learn.
Yeah. I've heard of a few students who just say, oh, no, I haven't eaten breakfast or lunch today because I've been studying all day.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You need food to work the brain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's much easier to remember if you are fueled.
Less foggy.
Yes. Another thing to create a good study group is to choose a location.
Yes.
So what location is going to meet the needs of the group? Could it be a study room in the library? Could it be a Teams meeting online?
It's possible.
Yeah. That might be like if people have various different schedules and they're all over the place, maybe working, family as well. Maybe Teams is a way that we can make this work and we can kind of fit that into the little bits of time that somebody has.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that is a big thing these days is a lot of students just
it's
need
not
to...
just school.
Yeah, exactly. They need to be online sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe our program has a space that we can utilize for studying.
Yeah, and I think, you know, here at our institution, we do have some of those program spaces. I know we go up to our health and wellness center and, you know, there's little nooks here and there that students can study. Over in the trades building, there's lots of little places there that people can study.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely other spaces than breakout rooms or, you know, quiet rooms or library rooms.
Yeah.
But library has a lot of space.
Yes.
So it's a good spot here to study for sure.
Yeah. And then final location piece, any quiet spot with good Wi-Fi and few distractions.
Yeah. It's definitely the one you want to think about the most is you don't want those distractions because, I mean, it takes you away from studies.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if there's like really loud distractions around. It makes it even harder.
Yes. But also sometimes people do study better with background noise.
True.
So the cave, if your study group that's what they need is that ambient background noise.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere like the cave, which is our, what would you call it? Like social space on campus.
Yeah. I've also in the past studied in the cafeteria with people
the background noise. Yeah. That would be a good spot
Which
too.
is true. And you could also, you know, bring in some music if you want, if your study group members all agree that that's nice.
Yeah. So like figuring out what works for the group. Like, is it that background noise? Is it a quiet space? What's available?
Yeah. And what's available, that's available. How do we run effective sessions? There's a few things we can look at, like we talked about that social piece. So like a quick check-in at the beginning, you know, how's everybody's day and the usual chit-chat that we have.
Yeah, making space for that right at the beginning.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
The next thing we can do is review the main concepts.
I mean, that's kind of gives you the broader aspect of, you know, here's the big things that we're looking at and then breaking down from there. Yeah. Focusing on the goal. Remember we set our goals. So focusing on what that goal is going to be. Yeah.
If there are questions that we need to answer, we're working through those as a group.
Yeah. So if, you know, something comes up at 3:00 in the morning and you can't sleep and you're thinking about your exam coming up. No, I'm just, you don't want to do that. But if something does come up in your own particular mind and your own personal studies, you can bring to the group and say, hey guys, I don't understand this concept or something, right?
Well, and like that 3 a.m. thing, write it down.
Yeah.
So you can get it out of your brain and hopefully go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then bring it to group,
And then
your
bring it
study
to
group.
Yeah. But go back to sleep for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Mental health's important,
Yes.
everybody.
And sleep is part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a lot about teaching back. And so even like developing activities on how to do that. So just, finding different things that, how do I teach this concept?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely makes sense in helping others learn and helping yourself learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And then ending that session with a plan for the next session. So we all know what we need to work on between now and then and bring to the group.
Knowing, what our goal is for the next group and planning what we're going to do.
Yeah.
What about communication skills for study groups?
So important. And then this is one of those important pieces in that study group that we can bring into our professional lives, our personal lives as well. But this is where it kind of overlaps into the work environment.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at kind of a few tools that kind of make a difference, we could use the we language instead of the I language, right? Typically when we're talking about mental health, we say, use your I language. I feel this. But in study groups, using that we language, how can we divide this more evenly? What's our goal today? Being that we're inclusive with everybody within the group.
Yeah. Clarifying expectations. So asking questions like, who's responsible for what? When are we meeting next?
Right. Who's going to bring the snacks next time?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just even simple things like that, having that expectation or having that figured out who's doing what.
We can think of, when we're thinking about communication in our group, the 3 C's. So being clear, being consistent, and being compassionate.
Yeah. So clear meaning, clear on what where our goals are and how we're dividing the work and such.
Yeah. So those expectations, that work between the group members, clear on what we're asking.
Yeah.
So if we don't understand a concept, which concept, what part of it?
Right. Yeah. And consistency, more like just making the meetings, making regular time for each other and such, and kind of even a consistent format of the group. So this is what
that can be really helpful. Yeah. Know what we're coming into each time.
Yeah.
Even consistency in contributing.
Yes.
So not just sitting back all the time, but consistently adding to the group, the conversation.
Yeah. What about, you mentioned compassionate.
So I think this can be part of that respect.
Yeah.
So understanding we all have different learning styles. Right. When we disagree or when we don't understand, we're not attacking. We're not like, why? Like, what? Yeah. Like that piece. It's more like, how can we work together?
Yeah. And you have to look at everybody's different and we have our own personal lives. So some of that compassion for our personal life stuff.
Yeah. And we don't have to know what that personal life stuff is, but understanding that it does have impact.
Yeah.
So maybe stuff's going on for a group member and they're not able to bring everything forward that they had planned to or they wanted to.
Yeah. Maybe they're quiet for that day. Well, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, we've looked at some of the communication skills. What about some more tips for effective study groups? Size makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You don't want a study group of 10 people because nothing gets done.
That's too much.
A study group of 2 people is not enough variety, I guess, or so something like 3 to 5 people is kind of like an ideal amount for groups. Yeah.
Maybe there's rotating leadership for each session.
Yeah, and I think that's good too, right? Because everybody, again, looking at that work experience, in the future, having some of that leadership qualities and taking over some of those leadership responsibilities can be very helpful.
Well, and practicing with our peers maybe is a little less intimidating. So building those skills where maybe it feels a bit safer, less scary, so that going into the work environment, we have an idea of what we're doing.
And, you've mentioned before that good stress. And, a place like this is actually good thing to think about. There's a little bit of stress being the leader of like one session, but it's healthy for us to overcome some of that stressful stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Shared documents is important. So sometimes, you know, I mean, in the past, shared documents has meant going to the photocopier, right?
Yes.
But now, I mean, there's lots of places where we can share documents, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. We can quiz each other.
Yeah.
So practice recalling that information we've learned.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this in other episodes about, you know, when we're talking about midterms and stuff and just being able to, you know, think through the problem instead of just reading it, here's, you know, what I learned, but asking each other those questions and, you know, that's using your brain to then think through the process and it definitely is important.
So hopefully we won't blank in the exam.
Yeah.
We want to explain concepts out loud.
How come?
This can be part of that teaching for ourselves, so helping solidify that information,
Right.
but also to help others learn. Like if we're just doing it in our head, we're not sharing with others. They're not learning in the same way.
Yeah.
There could also be pieces, like if we're just doing it in our head, maybe we have a piece that maybe isn't quite right.
Right.
So sharing it out loud
Yeah.
in that group with our peers, they can help us maybe catch those things.
I think for myself in the past too, it's been really important to talk out my study points because oftentimes just reading it and reading it and reading it is not, you know, it's not sinking in. When I say something, then it's like, oh yeah, that's how it works for sure.
Yeah.
You know, taking breaks is important. You got to take breaks. You know, not everybody can study for 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever it is without, you know, moving. I have trouble sitting down still.
Yes.
So definitely.
Well, and I don't think it's good for our bodies to sit for hours and hours and hours. So
Yeah, like us desk people. Right.
Yep. And then within our groups, celebrating those milestones.
Yeah, important.
Yeah.
You know, taking care of each other that way.
So our next piece, we want to look at why are groups assigned? Like, why do instructors love group assignments?
I know. Doesn't everybody hate group assignments? But
I know I did.
the instructor likes them.
Yeah.
Why is it?
As like a professional now, and even in some of my roles, looking back at like when I facilitated things, I know that I hate groups.
Yeah.
But being on the other side of it, I also now know how beneficial it can be.
Yes.
That collaboration piece, conflict resolution, working with different personalities, communication, project management. When we are in work environments, there are times when we are working with lots of different people and maybe different professions. So people who don't have the same education as us.
Yeah, you come from different areas and you get together on a project. And so
we
it's
need
really
to
important.
navigate that. We need to figure out how to move forward, how to finish that project.
I mean, there's lots of different things why we get these group assignments. You know, just again, being accountable to somebody, I think is really important.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes.
It is.
For sure. So
Absolutely.
how do we make them successful? I mean, that's a big thing. You know, how do we take these assigned groups that we hate doing, but we have to, you know, how do we make those successful? So looking at what are the roles in the group?
Yeah.
Definitely important.
Yeah.
Who's leading?
And maybe, like we mentioned earlier, having rotating leadership.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, as much as we can because we want to practice those skills. But maybe that's not possible in our group. So is there somebody who could be a leader? Is there somebody who can be the person to coordinate meetings and remind people?
Yeah.
That's good practice for being on committees.
It is, definitely. Yeah. So many committees.
So maybe there are things like that within our group that we need to have roles.
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, we need to say who's doing what, right? So it's that shared responsibility. So we have to look at who's responsible for what piece and who's responsible for this piece. And
because if we don't, then everybody's going to be like, someone will do it, and then nobody does it.
And nobody does it. Or somebody does everything.
Yes.
Which is
and
typically,
they're bitter about it.
Right?
And everybody else is like, this is awesome.
Hey, I did really well on my group assignment, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
right?
that's not okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to set out those expectations right at the start.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And what, like with those roles, what responsibilities does each role have?
Yeah.
And even with those roles, they could be rotating.
That's true.
But the responsibilities would be the same with each role.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, two people could be working on kind of the visual aspects and two people on a script. So it's not necessarily one person does this and then they switch just, to see if anybody can tweak things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deadlines are important. So making sure that you are keeping up with the deadlines in these group assignments, trying to make sure it's very clear as to when something needs to be done.
Yeah. Consequences for ghosting.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah. That probably depends on the group.
Yeah.
If it's assigned or not assigned.
Yeah.
Something to talk about within your group. What are consequences? Like if it's assigned at the beginning of the group, do we have a conversation? If people are ghosting or not contributing, we are going to talk to the instructor.
Yes. Yeah.
But having that conversation up front.
Yeah. And having the deadline. So hey, by next study group, you have to have this part done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about assigning roles. Oftentimes we have to look at then what are people's strengths around that.
Is someone really good at organizing and planning?
That's the planner for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Booking rooms.
Yeah. Somebody really good at the IT stuff.
Yes.
Right. Then they're doing some of that, presentation visuals and stuff. Yeah.
Is somebody really good at designing and creating whatever needs to be done for that group?
I mean, I think there's still, we still do poster boards here sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So what is that going to look like? If somebody's really good designer, hey, that's your spot, right?
Yeah. Well, writer or editor,
Yeah.
are people really good at picking up typos or inconsistencies in what's written?
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's like a visual thing or it's like a presentation you're doing in class, who's going to be doing the presentation, right? Who's going to be the speaker of the group? I mean, it could be everybody, but, typically you want to put most of that on the person who has the biggest skill there. Yeah.
Is there research involved? Is there a research lead?
Yeah.
Is there a research lead who's delegating pieces to the group?
Yes, I think that's important, right?
Yeah.
Because, in a group assignment, everybody should be doing their own research, but...
Yes. But maybe the research lead is the person who knows a lot about it and knows where to look. And they're like, okay, you are taking this piece and you can find it here.
Yeah.
The person who's taking that piece has to find all the stuff.
Right.
But they have a better idea of where to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be something like that.
Makes great sense. And then kind of breaking down your projects into SMART goals. We don't talk about SMART goals. Of course, they're important and they work, right?
Yes.
So that's why we talk about them. So making something specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So using those SMART goals is big, really important.
And then using tools that help us in our groups. So we mentioned maybe Teams for those online meetings.
Yeah.
Maybe Teams could be that collaborative space where we're contributing to the documents or the information.
Yeah, having those shared documents we talked about, Google Docs is one, but there's others as well that you can share docs, Microsoft OneDrive and such. So lots of different electronic stuff out there. Project software out there like Trello or Microsoft Planner. Those are sometimes quite helpful. You kind of keep everybody on track then.
If there is design stuff, Canva can be a really useful tool, and we can have a user login that everybody shares and can contribute. Yeah. It's been one of the most popular for sure. There's others out there too. Yes. So you could look at some of those. And of course, group chats is sometimes important so that you're keeping track of things. I know a lot of students use Discord these days, and that's very helpful. There's WhatsApp, which is another good one for group chats and such. Yeah. Addressing issues early. Yes. So this is a skill that can help us in our life almost everywhere. In our life. Right. So if there is something that's bothering us, addressing it when we notice. Yeah. And addressing it in a kind, compassionate, respectful way. Yeah. But addressing it so that it doesn't sit and stew and simmer and turn into something even bigger. Right.
You know, typically in groups, we have that tendency to talk behind people's backs. Oh, that person's not doing anything for us, or they're not doing their work.
Yeah.
You know, it just, the best way is just talk to that one person and say, hey, what's going on?
Yes.
You know,
Because there could be something going on.
Could be a lot going on.
Maybe they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a lot going on in their life.
And then that's, you know, typically bring that to the group then and say, hey, you know, we're having some struggles with this. Maybe other people pitch in a little in that one area.
Yeah. And two, like with that piece, like this, addressing an issue early may not be a skill that we have, may not be something that we have ever tried or been comfortable with.
Confrontation,
So there are resources.
Right.
We can talk to our instructor for support. We can talk to people in wellness services to get to figure out like how to move forward, practice those skills, and then address it. So knowing that it's important, but also knowing we understand it's not something that's innate or everybody has.
It's a learned thing for sure.
So being at our institution, there are resources that can help you with that too.
Yes. So, and that's, you know, another thing. If this, you know, confrontation or frustration does cause you mental anguish, then go to wellness services, talk to somebody about it, see where you can go and, you know, how to approach it differently or how to manage it yourself.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can't change other people.
Yeah.
We can talk to them. We can share the concern. But if it's something that they can't address, won't address, what can we do for ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so part of that, you know, addressing issues early, we want to look at making sure that your presentation, your assignment is, you know, everybody's voice. You know, being able to like not look at, you know, the instructors don't want to look at something and say, we can tell that one person did this. They want to make sure everybody's got contribution and that it comes across as one voice, right? Yeah.
So just adding to what we've been talking about, groups can be difficult.
Yes. Yes.
So what can we do to help like work through that, minimize it, if like address it when we can?
Right. And we talked about, you know, getting on those issues early. Definitely is important.
And we talked about talking respectfully.
Yes. Well, respectfully and compassionately, for sure. You know, respectful talk is sometimes a learned thing. It's another thing we might have to learn. Right? Yeah. Going back to what we agreed upon at the beginning of the group, like these are what the roles are, these are what people are doing. And
these
just
are the
going
expectations.
Back, this is what we decided on, right?
We do want to document those decisions or have a document of like what the group expectations are so that we can refer back.
And I like doing that, also having that in whatever chat system we're using or, you know, just being able to say, go back in the chat, this is what we talked about and kind of just
we
go
can
from
even,
there.
some chats we can pin that so that people can refer back easily.
Yeah.
It also helps us when we're addressing a concern or an issue, referring back to that piece about the group expectations, because then maybe it's a little less scary because like this is what we all agreed upon.
Yeah.
We need to work through this so that we can continue to do our work.
Yes. We talked about always kind of having that opportunity to talk to the instructor. It is important. I mean, when we're struggling with a group, it's okay to talk to the instructor and say, you know, I'm struggling with this group assignment. What can I do? And instructors, oftentimes, they've been dealing with groups for a long time. They know kind of these struggles. So they have good insight.
A lot of our instructors are coming from professions also that they're teaching about.
That's true.
So they've worked with people in the field and they've potentially had difficulties with groups. So even that piece, they can pull from that knowledge, what they learned, maybe support you in moving forward through your struggles.
Yes, and that's important.
Yeah.
Definitely, right? So what are some final takeaways that we can cover for this episode?
So study groups succeed when we pick the right people, when we set expectations, set clear expectations. When we use our communication skills, so that's clear communication, consistent, compassionate.
compassionate, those C's, right?
Yeah. And then when we stay organized, we stay on task, we know what the next task is, what we are supposed to be contributing.
Yeah, everybody contributes, right? Yeah. Setting those, making sure those timelines are realistic for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't give somebody, 24 hours to get, 4 days of work done kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And looking, just making sure that when we set those expectations of who's doing what, that it's very clear. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are dividing tasks realistically between our team members. So having people use their strengths, also challenging each other when we can to maybe get outside our comfort zone a little bit so that we can practice those skills that'll be helpful in our career.
Yeah. And keep those things in mind. Right? Yeah. So if you need to re-listen to this episode, then go for it.
Yeah. And share with your group members.
Absolutely. And share those snacks too.
Yes. Yeah. Snacks are important.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in to Fearless Journeys Thriving on Campus this week. Challenge yourself to start or improve a study group or a group assignment. Look at different ways of learning together, hands-on stuff. Make it intentional. And if this episode helped, share it with your classes, share it with everybody in your cohorts, and help other people, gain the same experience. So until next time, we will see you then.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.